Imagine strolling through a forest and sensing whispers dancing on the wind. Except the trees aren't rustling leaves above, they're humming secrets below the threshold of your hearing. Could forests really be talking to each other in a language of inaudible vibrations? What kind of voices do trees use? It turns out that as water pulls through a tree's xylem vessels, it sometimes snaps and bubbles. Think of tiny cavitation pops that send out acoustic pulses in the kilohertz to hertz range, often too low or too faint for human ears. These micro crackles can travel through the trunk and roots, sending signals to neighboring trees about drought stress, pest attacks, or even when it's time to leaf out. How do scientists eavesdrop on these arboreal murmurings? By strapping sensitive microphones or geophones to trunks and burying piezoelectric sensors in the soil around root networks. In lab setups, researchers subject saplings to water stress and watch for bursts of infrasound, those sub-20 Hz rumbles that you feel more than hear. When a neighboring tree hears the alert via shared mycorrhizal fungal networks, it can preemptively close leaf pores or boost its own defense. Can trees really coordinate over meters or even tens of meters in a dense woodland? Yes, those sound waves propagate surprisingly far through the interconnected wood and soil like ripples in a solid pond. And when you overlay the fungal internet, trees gain both the hardware, acoustic channels, and the software, chemical and electrical signals to share information, creating a silent symphony of community. Why should we care about tree talk? Because decoding these signals could revolutionize forest management, giving us early warnings of drought or disease before visible damage occurs. Imagine a network of smart trees that alert rangers the moment they sense water stress, or agroforests that self-report pest incursions, all without a single word. So next time you wander among ancient trunks, remember, there's a low-frequency chatter beneath your feet, forest gossip in the key of bark and root. And while we're still tuning our instruments to catch every note, one thing's clear: the woods have more to say than the eye or ear can perceive. Plants and trees are generally silent to the human ear, but recent studies show that they emit ultrasonic clicks and acoustic signals in the 2150 kilometer range. These sounds are typically produced during stress conditions like drought, injury, or pathogen attack. The source is thought to be cavitation, tiny air bubbles forming and collapsing in the xylem during water transport. These acoustic emissions are beyond human hearing, but can be detected with specialized microphones. This opens the possibility that trees are not silent. They're just speaking in frequencies we've never tuned into. In 2023, researchers recorded ultrasonic emissions from tomato and tobacco plants during drought, noting that healthy and stressed plants had it's like discovering your walls have been creaking entire messages in ultrasound while you are asleep. Plants are already known to communicate via chemical signals, like volatile organic compounds, electrical pulses, and root exudates. If acoustic emissions are frequent and variable, they could serve as a new signaling modality, especially for warning neighboring plants of stress. The idea is that plants under threat may broadcast stress acoustics that others could detect and respond to. While evidence is still preliminary, some researchers believe plants could evolve or may already possess acoustic sensitivity. Detecting such signals would allow coordinated community behavior across forest ecosystems. Experiments show that plants exposed to the sound of chewing insects can prime their defenses even without direct damage. It's like one tree shouting a silent alarm, and the others readying their shields before the enemy arrive. In addition to ultrasonic emissions, trees may also communicate through low-frequency or subsonic vibrations transmitted via their trunks, roots, or soil networks. Wind, rainfall, and root growth generate vibrational signatures that propagate underground. These vibrations could carry information about environmental changes or neighboring root activity, fungal mycorrhizal networks with wood wide web could also serve as conductors or amplifiers of such vibration. Detecting and decoding these signals is technically difficult, but ongoing research is probing this hidden acoustic layer of forest ecosystems. Seismological sensors have detected synchronized root-generated tremors in bamboo groves responding to rain events. It's like a Morse code sent by tree roots, tapping rhythms through the earth. Unlike animals, trees lack organs explicitly adapted for hearing, but this doesn't rule out vibration sensing. Mechanoreceptor proteins in plant cells, especially in root tips and vascular tissue, may detect pressure waves or substrate vibrations. Plants already use mechanosensation to respond to touch, wind, and gravity. It is possible that specialized cells in roots or xylem could detect low-frequency signals or resonance in their environment. Evolution might have tuned this sensitivity not for hearing in the animal sense, but for environmental awareness. Plants exposed to repeated mechanical vibrations show altered growth patterns and gene expression, indicating sensory perception. It's like sensing footsteps in a building, not through your ears, but through the trembling of the floor beneath your feet. Forests, especially old-growth ones with tall canopies and diverse species, may form acoustic systems where tree trunks, branches, and root networks serve as conductors and resonators. Wind-driven oscillations, rainfall impacts, or animal movement can produce standing waves across forest systems. If trees both emit and sense these signals, then a distributed sound web may exist in forests, operating in the background of our perception. These networks could enhance synchronization of seasonal rhythms, flowering cycles, or drought responses. No evidence yet confirms coordinated messaging, but the structure exists. Studies in tropical forests show canopy vibrations can synchronize seed drop and flowering patterns across multiple species. It's like an orchestra tuning itself, not with a conductor, but by listening to the resonance in the hall. Plants often exhibit responses to environmental changes with surprising coordination, even without direct contact. These include synchronizing flowering, responding to distant herbivory, or adjusting root behavior when a neighbor is cut. Some of these phenomena are hard to explain with chemical signaling alone, which is relatively slow and spatially limited. Acoustic signaling, especially at subsonic or ultrasonic frequencies, could provide a faster and broader means of awareness. This might also explain why plants grow differently in music-rich versus vibration-dampened environments. Pea plants growing in pots next to an empty water pipe preferentially grew toward the pipe when it carried water sounds, despite no moisture being present. It's like hearing water running behind a wall and instinctively walking toward it without seeing it. If acoustic communication is real and ecologically meaningful, it suggests forests operate as integrated sensory and signaling systems. Trees might not be passive entities, but active participants in collective ecological awareness, sensing, and responding as a system. This could reframe discussions on plant intelligence, network behavior, and consciousness. A forest might then be seen as a distributed sensory organism with acoustic awareness as part of its emergent behavior. Research is needed to test these hypotheses rigorously, but the implications are profound. Theoretical models suggest that information encoded in vibration could travel faster through soil root networks than chemical diffusion, enabling collective drought resistance. It's like each tree is a neuron, and the whole forest is the brain, thinking in sound waves rather than electric ones. To study this phenomenon, scientists are developing ultra-sensitive microphones, vibration sensors, geophones, laser interferometry, and quantum gravimetric tools. These instruments can capture high-frequency clicks, infrasonic pulses, and substrate vibrations in controlled and wild environments. Machine learning algorithms are used to classify, decode, and correlate these signals with environmental and biological variables. Field experiments across climate zones aim to test if acoustic signatures can predict forest health, drought stress, or species-specific responses. The field of plant bioacoustics is rapidly advancing. With interdisciplinary collaboration, researchers placed acoustic arrays in an olive grove to record stress clicks from trees under varying irrigation conditions, then trained AI models to classify plant vocabulary. It's like putting a language translator on trees and learning what they've been quietly screaming all along. Acoustic communication in trees remains a frontier hypothesis, but mounting evidence suggests it's worth serious exploration. If confirmed, it would revolutionize our understanding of plant behavior, ecology, and sensory biology. It could reshape conservation science, forestry, and even ethical perspectives on plant life. Forests would no longer be silent. They would be complex, vibrating conversations in the biosphere. Listening to them might teach us more than we ever imagined. A future forest meadow-mingling network could use tree-generated sounds as early warnings of drought, pest invasion, or climate stress. It's like finding that the quiet forest is actually full of voices. You just needed the right ears.